gotta turn your thingy on.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are to my right, behind the town attorney, and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Councilman Delango?
Here.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Here.
Councilwoman Doyle? Here. Supervisor Brody?
Here.
And I have not heard from Gretchen.
Okay, I make a motion to go into executive session for matters relating to collective negotiations under the Taylor Law.
Second it. Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Brody?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Brody?
Yes. And do we need a motion to authorize me to set up interviews?
Return to the regular meeting.
Okay, make a motion to return to regular meeting.
Could have been part of that.
Well, we'll make that part of the motion. Here. Okay. Okay, I make a motion to return to regular meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Brody?
Yes.
Okay, now we can start business.
Okay. Make a motion to authorize the town attorney to draft a letter to current counsel for collective bargaining.
Second it.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Brody?
Yes. And I make a motion that we set up interviews for new counsel for collective bargaining to start at 6 o'clock next Thursday, July 21st.
I'll second.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Brody?
Yes. Okay, we're not going to have a public hearing tonight because we need to re-advertise for, in order for it to do it at another date, because we didn't have our meeting last Thursday, and there's insufficient notice to the public of the public hearing of the local law. Is there public comment? It's not. Supervisors report. Had an invitation from Governor Cuomo to attend the 2016 Breast Cancer Ride Rally at DEC regional headquarters. Motorcycle riders, including the governor, rode from Kings Park, Rhode Island to Newport's, where non-riders like myself gathered. That morning, Governor Cuomo signed into law legislation that makes it easier for women to get screened, such as mandating that insurance companies pay for mammographies and related tests in full, so there would no longer be copays or deductibles, requiring hospitals and other facilities to extend hours during the week and on weekends, so working women and those with families can get these tests done. And 3, they set up a website, www.ny.gov//get screened for assistance for finding a facility near you, or you can call 1-866-442-2262. So That's what the no excuses sign that I have up here means, is that the governor and the legislature have taken away the most reasons for women have for not having this important test done. So please don't put this off, and you need to get screened as soon as possible, especially if you haven't been for a long time. Senator Sue Serino is having a free senior scam prevention seminar Monday, July 18th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Northeast Community Center, 51 South Center Street, Millerton, New York. Senator Sue Serino, chair of the New York State Senate Aging Committee, is partnering with the New York State Department of State to inform seniors about the alarming trend in senior-targeted scams. We have received an ambulance services draft RFP from Brad Pinsky, which we are reviewing, and we are waiting for an update to that draft RFP, and are waiting for comments and from the ambulance service committees and anyone else who has seen it. The RFPs for post-closure monitoring of the Old Amenia landfill have been sent to 4 firms who have done this work for many years: CT Mail, Sampson and Weston, McGoey, Hauser and Etzel, PVE Scheffler, and are due back by July 20th, 2016. Okay, town clerk report.
Good evening. The monthly share has been remitted to the town supervisor in the amount of $597.45. The minutes of May 19th, June 2nd, June 16th, and the opening on June 9th have all been circulated to the board. The taxes, as I reported last month, have been turned over to the county in full. The town has received $4,778.30 in as part of my final payment for all of the late fees that so that's your share for us doing it here locally with the extension through May 31st of the year. I have circulated to the town board the 2016 summer camp counselors list that was provided by your summer camp director, Kathleen Howard. And I present to the board this year's summer camp counselors who need to be approved and hired at the following: Kathleen Howard, your summer camp director, $18 an hour. EMT Kathleen Kelly, $15 an hour. Assistant rec director Kobe Adrian, $11.50 an hour. Returning counselors Shelby Adrian, $9 an hour. Thomas Ford, $9 an hour. Sean Hosier, $10 an hour. Raquel Singleton, $10 an hour. Chloe Evanhart, $9 an hour. And welcoming new counselors this year, Ethan Lounsbury, $9 an hour. Cassidy Watt, $9 an hour. Jessica Wolf, $10 an hour when she's acting as counselor and $12 when she's acting as the sub-EMT. Melissa Caners, $9 an hour, and Hannah Lounsbury, $9 an hour. So we're looking for the board to approve those.
I'll make a motion that we approve the salaries as read.
Second.
Hourly wages, I would say. Hourly wages as read.
For the summer counselors.
Yeah, for the summer counselors.
And I'm going to list that out in the minutes. So
Okay, good.
it'll be as stated. Councilman DeLango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Brody?
Yes.
Thank you. And then also this evening, Councilman Gutierrez and I had some correspondences last month. And one of the in the conversation, he had inquired about term limits and how come the Amenia Town Clerk is a 2-year term and not a 4-year term. I had done the research and I presented back to the councilman, that of 20 that we received back, more than half are 4-year terms. Beacon, Clinton, Dover, Hyde Park, LaGrange, Milan, Northeast, Pauling, Pine Plains, Pleasant Valley, Red Hook, Wappingers, and the town of Washington. As I enjoy going door to door, you know, 2011, 13, 15, everybody keeps asking me, why do I keep coming and knocking on your door? Well, I like knocking on your door because I need your signature. So I would like to present this information to the board and ask the board if they are willing to consider presenting this item be placed on the ballot this year and let the public as a whole comment in their vote to have a voice whether or not this position should remain a 2 or a 4. In 2014's election, I know Northeast did go with the movement and had the change with their supervisor and their clerk. And I haven't had that conversation with each of the board members until it was brought to my attention. How come I keep going out? I don't know, I like to socialize. So I'm asking the board if they would consider doing that.
I would only add that I would say the supervisor should also be a 4-year term. It's something I've felt for a long time. No matter who's in office, 2 years is not enough. You spend a year getting your feet wet, and then the next year you are campaigning and you don't have time to really focus on what's important to Amenia residents. I think a 4-year term would serve us all in a much better way for both, because both are intensive learning situations. You cannot just jump in and be town clerk on a moment's notice. You have a lot of responsibilities. The same with the supervisor. They are in charge of collecting, $4 million worth of taxes, and the supervisor's in charge of managing, millions of dollars worth of budget, and it's something that you don't just learn in a 6 months, 1 year period. You need a good long term to do it well and accomplish something.
I mean, I ran, the last 3 terms, and every time I knock on the door, you're here again. So
Every 2 years is brutal.
It is a lot. I just kind of took it. It goes with the job duties, and it wasn't until it was a nice conversation and a real eye-awakening moment when I said, you know what, the last three elections, it's a good point, and I'd like to, the people that I've spoken with have all agreed to it, and now it's for the board to go ahead and
Put it on the ballot.
put it on the ballot.
I'll add, as the new guy, I'm still learning stuff, and if there's anything I've learned in the first 6 months on the job, it's that both the town clerk and the supervisor's job are an incredible commitment of time,
Right.
of energy, and it's incredible to think that that's a position that comes up every 2 years. Like Vicki said, it does prevent you from really focusing on longer term projects. Clearly, the flip side of that is the mechanism for voters to enact change if they're dissatisfied. And so, something potentially that we could also look at is maybe staggering elections of the rest of the town board members a little differently, so that there's a little more civic engagement. Maybe maybe one seat of ours is up every year, and it rotates that way. That way, voters in the town can go ahead and make their voice heard in any given year to shift the balance of how the board is. But I don't want to overcomplicate this, but those specifically for those 2 positions, I believe they merit a 4-year term.
Well, we would have to see what the timeline is for getting it on the ballot.
Right.
We're still okay. I believe I have until start of September, so that this would be the last month
That we can do it. So we would need a motion to get that underway, is that
we
correct?
would authorize her to create,
To write the language.
to write the language. Northeast just did it in 2014, so we can we can ask Northeast for
Their language.
their
Resolution that they put on the ballot.
resolution.
And I think town of Washington made their supervisor a 4-year term also, I believe.
Recently.
I think that's right, within the last couple of years. I could be wrong, but I know it was an issue. So I would make a motion that we authorize Denise to start writing the language that we would need to pass a resolution for getting the language correct on the ballot in time for the upcoming election.
Second that.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes the town clerk's report.
Highway Department?
Well, we've been pretty busy. We've done a lot of blacktop this year. Finally got to use the shared service paver and roller and trailer with the help of Northeast. They helped us with the paver and a dump truck. Dover helped us with a dump truck. Ton of Washington helped us with 2 dump trucks. We got to do Glen Avenue this year, Little Glen Avenue, Lincoln Court, and 350 feet on Laval Road. I think they all turned out pretty good for first time us doing the paving ourselves. And it cost us $30,655 to do them roads. Then Butts Hollow Road, we didn't do it, but I put it out for a quick quote through OGS. We had to get 3 quotes from 3 vendors that were on it. So I got quotes from Peckham's, Calaruso, and Callahan. And Peckham's got the bid on that. So we blacktopped 2,230 feet of blacktop on Butts Hollow Road. 930 feet of dirt is now blacktop on Butts Hollow Road. And that came in at $64,000. So we spent over $95,000 on blacktop this year. And they all look good. Through the governor's office, we get chips, a little over $73,000 for chips. He established a new program this year. It's, I think it's only a 1-year event maybe, but it's Pave New York, they call it. We were awarded $16,835 to pay for blacktopping this year, and I would like to use that money and a little bit more money to do 1,100 feet on Yellow City Road from Troutbeck community in around to the wetlands. So I got to stop at the wetlands because I got to get a permit and everything. So, but next year I'd like to finish that. I'd like to finish Yellow City Road if we get all the permits and everything. But I think I need board permission to do that 1,100 feet because it's not in the agreement to spend town funds this year. And that'll cost us probably around $25,000. And the road is ready to be blacktopped. Just so we can't go any further than that for two reasons. We don't have the money this year or the permits.
And what was the road you did 288 feet of?
200 what?
202.
Or 200?
2,230 is Butts Hollow.
No, before Butts Hollow. There was Glen Avenue, Little Glen Avenue, Lavelle, and what else?
Lincoln.
Oh, Lincoln.
It's up there by the water tower.
Is it cheaper to maintain blacktop than it is the dirt road?
Sure is.
No.
Yep. That dirt's costs a lot of money to do the dirt.
I think if that section of Yellow City Road is ready to get paved, we should probably pave it before you have to redo it again.
Yep.
So, and that's my thought. If you had money, you had money left over, right? Or you just got
grant.
to move it?
Yeah, I got enough money to do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it with the shared service paver. So, actually, it's still at the garage.
I mean, like I said if that road is ready to go, I think you should blacktop that.
Yeah, if we did the 1,100, then we got like maybe 3,000 more to go, 3,000 feet more to go. Because there's blacktop on both ends of that road. It just doesn't make sense.
I make a motion to let Stan blacktop the portion of Yellow City Road with the grant money.
Second?
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Yeah, these dirt roads, it really should start paving them. We like Tower Hill, between that first and second bridge, we spent $150,000 on that. And it's ready for blacktop, but still dirt. We did Flint Hill a few years ago, maybe 8 years ago. Community block grant, I think we got $150,000. That used to be a mud hole. And now it's going the other way. Now it's starting to get muddy again. Where if it was blacktop, it'd still be good. The mud always comes back through that dirt.
Well, stone isn't getting any cheaper either.
And nothing's getting any cheaper. All right, that's all I have. Anybody have anything?
Nope, we're good.
That's it. All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, I have a building department report, monthly report. Please find June's monthly report for the building department. As building permits go, we have issued 14 new building permits totaling $11,356.98. We're continuing with certificate of occupancy searches, and for this month, we did 6 searches, which total $1,500. As far as fire inspections go, we did 3 inspections, which total $475, and 2 renewals of $187.50. The total for the month of $13,519.48. We also have a zoning report. He's currently working on zoning violations with the attorney. Okay, any other committee reports? None. Okay. We'll have a grant administrator report next week. One of the things I wanted to talk about is authorizing zoning law updates for mobile homes and solar farms. There's nothing in the zoning for solar farms. We're getting a lot of questions about it and people calling. And also the signs. There are 3 areas where the zoning needs to be updated, and I wanted to see if the board would like to authorize Dave Everett to work on these 3 areas to update our zoning laws.
What was the issue with the signs?
The issue with the signs is that I think the zoning law was unclear in the size of a lot of the signs and where you could use them.
It's very confusing because it's about if you make it out of one type of material, it could be one side. If you use another type of material, it's another size. There's parts in the law where if the sign is wood, you're allowed 4 more square feet. If it's metal, you got to take away 2 square feet. It's very confusing, the sign law, very confusing.
And a lot of the, businesses in town have complained.
Yeah.
So I think it needs to be looked at. So I'd like to make a motion to authorize Dave Everett to look at the areas in our zoning law for mobile homes, solar farms, and signs, especially since we're getting a lot of calls and there's a lot of interest in solar farms, and we don't have anything in the zoning to address it.
I second that.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prodi?
Actually, I wanted to add to that. It's Ian Holback's application for Dave to do.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be
Would be a
an
different.
update.
That would be an update.
Yeah, that's going to be different. That would be to retain him.
Okay. So do we need to do a separate motion for that?
Yeah, it's different.
Okay, so I make a motion.
Just vote yes or no on your first motion before you
So we
start a
do-
second.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And just, I'm sorry, just to clarify, that motion was
To authorize Dave Everett to look.
to look at, right? Because the agenda, it says to
do-
authorizing the updates to the
Right.
zoning law.
And, let us know what needs to be updated or changed in them.
Right, so that's the motion you made, and then that would be
Yes.
presented. Okay, got it. That is different than how it reads. in-
Because it says, look at the areas of the laws for the mobile home solar, and then start talk about solar, and then
Yes,
sign.
Right.
signs.
There's all-
Okay.
You have to read
Got it.
between the lines.
Now, we also need to make a motion to authorize Dave Everett to handle Ian Holback application,
The Ridgecrest
the
application.
Ridgecrest application.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Give it to her. She's next to me, she can hit me. Councilman Delango.
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle.
Yes.
And Supervisor Prodi.
Yes. Okay, I've given you information where Senator Serino has given us information for, it's called a SAM grant, it's State and Municipal Facilities Program, for potentially $50,000. They also gave us the criteria. One of the, where it says projects eligible for funding, acquisition, construction, demolition, or replacement fixed asset. The other was the major repair or renovation of a fixed asset or assets which materially extend its useful life or materially improves or increase its capacity. I was thinking that one of the things we could use this money for is to upgrade the windows. Currently, all the windows, with the exception of the bookkeeper's office, in the building are single pane, not energy efficient. Some of the storms are missing, and they're not in very good shape. So I asked someone from Home Depot to come out and look at all the windows on the lower floor, and we'd have to get other bids. But they said that the total project to do all the windows on the lower floor with 6,500 double pane, 0.29 U factor, low E energy efficiency. And this would be full install, takeaway, lifetime Home Depot warranty. Was $48,628. We'd have to get 2 other bids, but I thought if we're putting in a new heating system, it might be a good idea to tighten up the windows to make the building more energy efficient. So if you want to think about that, or you have any other ideas for how we can use this money, the money is, we actually have to get a contract with the dormitory authority. And, there's also a list here of projects that are ineligible for funding.
Well, it says the minimum project amount would be 50,000, right? Am I reading that wrong?
Right. So we could add another window or 2.
What's the maximum? Is there certainly got plenty of maximum prices?
I think if I recall, when you were describing this last time, Victoria, there was just a fixed amount for the whole program for the year.
Right.
And then- so I'm guessing your chances of getting awarded something are higher if you have a lower total cost project. That would be my guess.
Is it competitive, or is it just filling out the forms and putting it in?
Filling out the forms and putting it in.
So it's not competitive, it's simply asking for it, I guess.
No?
Yeah, she said that she got, this money for Amenia. So if anybody else has any other ideas, I thought the windows would be a good investment in the building. Because with the exception of the bookkeeper's office, all the windows down here are single pane. Some have storms windows on them, some of them don't. And they're pretty old.
One of the eligible things for funding is the acquisition of a fixed asset. I don't know if they're, maybe what, revisit the highway garage land, or?
Not far enough along, unfortunately. I mean, we don't have a project that's ready to go, and I think that's one of their issues, is that they don't want you to
They
swing
wanna
in
see
the
it.
wind for years.
Yeah,
trying to
actually,
figure out what to do.
when the letter I got from this, it said this would be, you know, a project where you were planning to do it 5 or 6 months down the road.
Got it.
Now, I have asked the state for property based on the law that I have given you, where the state can convey to the town land for a highway garage. Where the current highway garage and salt shed is, the Wasaig DDSO property, there's 10.49 acres. I mean, one end of that property has a couple of group homes, but there's no reason why it couldn't be subdivided. I had the last conversation through email I had with Scott Sandwick, who is the director of the real estate department for OBWDD. He said that currently they have Empire State Development doing a market study of all the available land, and that they would be talking with the towns about the possibility of conveying this land. So they didn't come out and say no. They said they wanted to work with us, so we'll see what happens. But I've also, I wrote a letter to the governor. I gave this information to Senator Serino. I gave it to Assemblymember Dee Dee Barrett and to the county, and I pulled out all the stops, and I have everybody working on this. So it's kind of a wait and see right now. So if you want to, you don't have to decide this tonight, but they are, looking in the next few weeks, would like to get the application back. So you can think about it, and we can talk about it again next week.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay? I met with, I called Karen Armstrong from Parkitects, the company that did the playground here, and so we could look at the other parks to see if anything needed to be done. So we went to Beekman Park, and the stand-up seesaw and the spinner are broken, but they're still under warranty, so they just ordered them, and they'll be coming in. The swing chains are rusted, so they're going to give us a price for replacement, and we need at least 8 inches of replacement mulch, and they'll give us a price for that. We can also check other places to see if, we can get it less expensive. In Wasaig Park, apparently the company who put in the equipment is a company called Playtime. One of the areas we've had a lot of problems with weeds growing around the playground equipment is because there's no drainage. So Parkitect is going to give us a price for, it's called drain stone, and we're going to have to rip up the fabric and the mulch and put the drain stone underneath to keep the weeds from keep growing. There's a toddler swing with straps that isn't safe, and there's the same type toddler swing as at Beekman Park, and they're going to give us a price for that. Then there's like these half tires in the ground, and she said they're breeding grounds for mosquitoes, so we need to pull them out. We'll have Sean do that. And then there's places where there's loose or missing hardware on some of the kaleidoscope swing and mounting place, and we'll have the maintenance guys take care of that. I asked about the arch climber. It's like a big circle that they can climb up, and she said that can be painted, and she's going to send me what paint we can use to paint that to extend the life of it. So as soon as I get the prices for the repairs, other than the 2 pieces that are under warranty, I'll give you those.
Did you guys, I know it wouldn't be Parkitect, but did you notice the entrance where the rail, the split rail fence is in dramatic decline? You know, it's really in a completely useless, you know, state of decline.
You was there?
Yeah, if you're going from the railroad tracks back, following the rail trail back to the Wasaic Park, it's really an eyesore. And I had asked the Metro North to fix it because they had installed it when they originally put the rail trail extension there. They built the extension in 2000 of the train, and one of the amenities was the split rail fence. And we haven't really maintained it. And they say that they don't maintain it. That's kind of like sidewalks, you know, you're using it, they built it, and now it's ours. But it seems like it should either be removed or we find money in the budget to fix what we have, one or the other. But just to have it just deteriorate over these last 5, 10, you know, 6 years, it looks awful for our entrance to the park. Looks like you're in. I mean, that's my personal opinion, but
So we should we have somebody look at it?
I think we should look at it and either get a
Does it
price to
serve a
fix it or to
purpose?
pull it apart. What happens is that there's a huge drop-off between Pauling Corp and the stream, and then the rail trail and the railroad. So the diamond mesh fence, the 6-foot fence, is in fine shape on your left, but if you look to the right, which is a precipice down into the creek, and then you've got Pauling Corp on the other side, it's a little scary. I mean, it's not like you're going to, you know, fall immediately into it because it's a nice 4-foot wide path. But it either should go or be repaired. That's my sense. And Metro North just is not interested at all in doing that for us. They put it in, and now it was up to us to maintain it or not maintain it, I guess. But it's in their right of way. If we maintain it, we'll have to get, you know, permission and all of that, I guess. But I think it should. I guess my sense is if we don't have enough money in the recreation savings account, then we should take it down and start over anyway. It's in such bad repair.
Who should we have look at it?
I think our maintenance guys, our recreation maintenance, they'll be able
Just
to
have
tell
them
us.
go down and tell us what we need to do?
Take a look at it.
Okay. Well, we'll look at the split rail fence and get a plan for it one way or the other.
Yeah, or, you know, I was thinking even if we planted, you know, the cost of repairing the split rail fence to putting up, you know, bushes or something that would, you know, really feel like you were not going to fall into that precipice would give you more of a boundary.
But it sounds like it's a safety issue too, so
Well,
we
it
probably...
does worry me. People on bikes, you know.
We probably need to have somebody look at it and make a plan for either taking it down or putting something else there. Okay, resolution for proposed local law number 1 to amend zoning maps. So we're not doing that, but we are doing a resolution to set up another public hearing. Resolution number,
36.
do I need to do the seeker first? Denise?
You could wait until next week and do that. Maybe do the public hearing and see what the
So just do the
comments-
public hearing one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was it?
36.
36. Resolutions scheduling a public hearing regarding adoption of local law number 1 of 2016 entitled, "A Local Law Amending the Zoning Maps of the Town of Amenia and Correcting the Meets and Bounds, Description of the Soil Mining Overlay Zoning District, and authorizing publication and posting of notice of public hearing." Whereas on March 17, 2016, by resolution number 13 of 2016, the Town Board of the Town of Amenia introduced local law number 1 of 2016 entitled, "A Local Law Amending the Zoning Maps of the Town of Amenia and Correcting the Meets and Bounds Description of the Soil Mining Overlay Zoning District." Whereas pursuant to Section 239M of the General Municipal Law, On March 21st, 2016, the town clerk for the town of Amenia gave written notice to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development of the town board's intention to adopt said local law number 1 of 2016. Whereas on March 21st, 2016, the town clerk gave written notice to the town of Amenia Planning Board of the town board's intention to adopt said local law number 1 of 2016. Whereas the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development provided a response pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 239, dated April 14, 2016, a copy of which is annexed hereto, advising that the proposed zoning amendment, which is the subject of proposed local law number 1 of 2016, is a matter of local concern. Whereas the Town of Amenia Planning Board has not submitted any comments on proposed local law number 1 of 2016 within the time allowed by law. Now therefore, the Town Board, in session duly convened, does hereby resolve as follows, that a public hearing on the proposed adoption of local law number 1 of 2016, entitled A Local Law Amending the Zoning Maps of the Town of Amenia and Correcting the Metes and Bounds, description of the Soil Mining Overlay Zoning District, be held on August 4th, 2016 at 7 p.m. at the Town of Amenia Town Hall, 4988 Route 22, Amenia, New York. 2, the town clerk is hereby authorized, empowered, and directed to immediately publish a legal notice as to said public hearing in the Millerton News, the official newspaper of the Town of Amenia, and post a copy thereof on the town clerk's official signboard, both in the form annexed hereto. The resolution shall take effect immediately. Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Crotty?
Yes. Okay, resolution accepting bid of and awarding contract for Route 44 sidewalk repair. Determination pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality, it's the wrong one. Resolution accepting bid and awarding contract for Town of Amenia 2015 CDBG Route 44 Sidewalk Improvement Project to Contact Construction Technology Incorporated, the lowest responsible bidder. Whereas the Town of Amenia, the town, caused a legal notice entitled Notice to Contractors Soliciting Bids for the Town of Amenia 2015 CDBG Route 44 Sidewalk Improvement Project to be published in the Millerton News, the town's official newspaper, on May 12, 2016, and the Poughkeepsie Journal on May
9th.
2016, in the form annexed hereto as Exhibit A. Whereas the town further caused a copy of said legal notice to be posted on the town's official town clerk bulletin board located in the Town of Amenia Town Hall, 4988 Route 22, Amenia, New York, on May
5th.
2016. Whereas sealed bids submitted in response to said legal notice for the Route 44 sidewalk project were opened at the Amenia Town Hall on June 9, 2016, in the presence of Town Clerk Dawn Marie Klinger, Robert Travis, P.E. of Morris Associates Engineering and Surveying Consultants, and various members of the public in attendance, at which time Robert Travis, P.E. announced the names of the bidders, the subject upon which the bids were submitted, and the amounts of the bids, as well as the inclusion of a non-collusive statement, the bid form, and the bid bonds or checks. Whereas the bids submitted at that time for the Route 22 sidewalk project were as follows. Contact Construction Technology Incorporated, $65,000. Sunup Enterprises, $83,410. Blacktop Maintenance, $94,361.11. Landworks Excavating Incorporated, $207,700. Whereas subsequent to the submission of such bids, the bids were reviewed by Morris Associates, the engineering firm retained by the Town of Amenia, with respect to design, plan, and specification for the Route 44 sidewalk project, and a report was made to the Town Board by Morris Associates, and whereas the Town Board has given due consideration to the bids submitted for the Route 44 sidewalk project and the report issued by Morris Associates to the Town Board. Now therefore be it resolved that after review and due consideration of all the foregoing, the Town Board hereby, 1, accepts the base bid of Contact Construction Technology Incorporated, 28 Lakeview Drive, Yorktown Heights, New York, 10598, the lowest responsible bidder for the Route 44 sidewalk project in the amount of $65,000, and awards the contract for the Route 44 sidewalk project to Contact Construction Technology Incorporated, subject to the proper execution of the contract and return of 4 complete executed copies of the contract to the Town Attorney Denise Fitzpatrick, 43 Bennett Common Way, Millbrook, New York, 12545, with a complete copy provided to the town's retained engineer, Morris Associates Engineering and Surveying Consultants, 9 Elks Lane, Poughkeepsie, New York, 845-454-3411, together with 1 performance bond insurance certificate as required by said contract, B, labor and material payment bond as required by said contract, C, certificates of insurance as required by said contract, D, comprehensive schedule, E, list of all manpower types and equipment to be used on the project, and F, further specifications outlined by the town's retained engineer, Morris Associates, in its notice of award provided to the contractor. All of the same to be submitted within 10 days from the date of the notice of award provided by Morris Associates to Contact Construction Technology Incorporated. 3, upon approval of the town attorney and the town's retained engineering firm, Morris Associates, of all contract as executed by Contact Construction Technology Incorporated, and of all the required submissions therewith, authorizes the town supervisor, Victoria Perotti, to execute said contract on behalf of the town board of the town of Amenia. Okay, and could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we pass the resolution as read.
Second?
Second.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes. We have a transfer of funds resolution.
38.
Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary and unanticipated to amend the budget. Whereas budget amendment for the general fund, increasing expense line 6310.2, Community Action Kitchen by $10,000 to record a $10,000 donation received in 2016 designated for the Amenia Town Hall Community Kitchen. Whereas budget amendment for the general fund, decreasing expense 19004.1.49 contingency by $8,000 and increasing expense 13104.1.40 Director of Finance account support in the amount of $8,000 for unanticipated expenses, reconciling bank statements and completing cash audit accounts. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board authorizes the transfer of necessary budget lines to process the transaction. Can I make that motion?
I'll second it.
Councilman Delango?
Sorry, this discussion?
Sure.
Sure.
What, the contingency and the accounting? I just didn't catch all that. What was the,
Contingency is a money we have put aside for unanticipated expenses that we didn't expect in the budget.
got that, but we're tapping it for what? For,
For our municipal accountant is in the Director of Finance account support line.
okay, sorry, I was confused.
No, that's okay. Okay.
Okay.
Done.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes. And last but not least, our door is in pretty poor, front door is in pretty poor shape. And desperately needs repair. We have all we can do to shut it and lock it. We did get 3 bids. One person only gave us, one was to remove the old, option was remove the old entrance, supply and install new storefront entrance. And we had 3 bids for that. It was $5,058.69 from Kent Glass, $4,475 from Schmaling Glass, and then this Richard Powles gave us an estimate of he's from New Glass, $7,800. Kent Glass also gave us the option to remove the store front entrance, replace the frame and side light, reuse existing doors with new rotund hinges for $2,450.13. And Schmeling Glass gave us an option to do the same thing for $3,000. And then option 3 was to fix the existing storefront, replace the door hinges for $1,013.42 from Kent Glass, and then Schmeling Glass was to repair the existing new for $1,450. Now, from what I understand, we can still use the doors themselves, that the problem is the frame. So I don't know if you want to remove the old entrance and supply and install the new front storefront entrance, or to just remove the frame and the side light and use the existing doors and just replace the hinges. But the doors themselves aren't the problem, the frame's the problem.
Can we hold on this a little longer and maybe put it in the thing with the windows?
No, we need to do this now because the door is in really bad shape. I mean, we have a hard time disclosing it. And there is money in the budget for it in the maintenance line.
I think the Kent Glass is the best deal, where you would get a whole new front entrance, right? They replace it and reuse the existing doors for $2,400 versus Schmaling, which would give you also a new frame and reuse the doors for $3,000. So you got a little savings there of almost $500, a little more than $500 by doing I think those doors are fine too. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I'd
not, the
hate to see
doors
them
aren't
just-
the
Yeah, if we're
problem.
gonna do that, then we might as well go with the $1,000 and just fix what's there.
fix what's there, fix the existing storefront
Option number 3.
and replace the door hinges.
But the frame is what really needs,
I'd hate to run into another
I mean, they're the
problem.
one that gave the estimate, they looked at it.
Yeah, but is it a short-term investment where we could get a whole new frame and be done with this for 10, 15 years, 20 years? I don't know what the warranty is on these things, but I think the frame is what is the weak link.
is the problem.
I would hate to put $1,000 and then find that, 5 years down the road, we have to replace it or fix it again. I don't know what their fix means.
So do you want to just do the frame, just replace the frame and the side light? And then reuse the existing doors with new hinges?
I mean, did they give you any kind of, if they just fixed it, what the warranty was gonna be? How long is it gonna last? I mean,
From what I understand from, the biggest problem there is the frame.
yeah.
That's the wear and tear, yeah.
That's the wear and tear. You replace the frame, you're going to get, they didn't give me, I don't know what the warranty would be on it,
Yeah.
but we have, if there's nothing wrong with the doors, then we can just replace the frame. Unless you want to remove the whole thing.
if the doors aren't broke, then I don't think we should, change those out. Those seem to be fine. I think it's sticking and not opening and closing
Well, that's
correctly
because the
right
frame is all,
Right.
is shot.
Yeah, it's out of square.
So I don't know if you want to do one or two. The other problem we have with the frame, the way it is, whenever we get a heavy rain, water just pours underneath that.
Well, it's supposed to saddle.
Yeah. But we need to do something because it's really,
So it's basically, I mean,
It's a safety
Smalling
issue.
said they would do just the repairs for $1,450. If you add another 1,000, then you get brand new frame. And if that's the weak link, I guess I would throw another 1,000 at it to make sure we're not doing this, as a short-term fix.
yeah,
Assuming that there's at
because
least a 2-year warranty on the thing. I mean, some kind of guarantee that it would all work for a while.
There's nothing wrong with the doors, but, the way that I'm thinking about it is we're looking at, energy-saving windows and this and that. How old is those doors? I mean, are we going to be replacing those doors in 2 years with a different, thermal pane glass or anything like that? Those doors have to be, 30 years old, probably.
I don't know, they had the bond in 2000, right? They put a ton of money into this place, but where they all sunk it, I don't know.
I
We're
don't
still
know.
paying the note as taxpayers on the improvements they made here. They put in the elevator, they did a bunch of stuff they didn't do, but they were paying on the note still. I don't know if the doors, how old the doors are. I think we'd authorize her to spend up to $2,450 and talk to Schmaling and see what they really recommend for a fix that, makes sense. It's hard for us to know if that's, energy efficient doors, if the doors are worth keeping. There's not enough information here and what kind of warranty they have. I'd be willing to authorize the supervisor to spend up to $2,450.13 and let her make a decision based on what she can get.
well, if you want me to, do you want me to get more information? We're having a meeting next week.
You need to get this door fixed. It doesn't.
But, I mean, it doesn't shut. That's
Right.
what I'm afraid
We've got a
of.
problem with getting it done.
For what it's worth, Mike, I liked your idea. If we're going to go for a grant to do large improvements to the windows, then maybe we could do that, but we clearly need to fix it, so.
No.
And the door's not locking.
It's hard. I don't know.
You have to
You
fight
need a
with it.
tall person to reach the latch. I did put notes on the door that says "Do not open," and in order to even get it open, you have to slam that to get that door open.
Yeah.
And when the individual does that, then we can't lock it, so we have to wait for Mikey to come in, or when we see Mike, to get up there to whatever
Adjust
Jimmy
it.
does, to get it to pull it back in.
Yeah, at
So
the very least, we
one of
need
the
to,
men to shut the door.
It's failing fast.
at the very least, we need to replace the frame.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the supervisor just to repair the front entrance in an amount not to exceed $2,450.13, or $2,500,
Plus
let's just say, $2,500.
Yeah, there won't be tax.
No, there won't be
Yeah.
tax. Based on the additional information that she's able to garner and from either Kent Glass or Schmaling.
Second that?
Councilman Delango?
No.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Motion carries. 2,500.
Yeah, I don't have any other matters. Does anybody have anything else?
I have a few comments that I've gotten from residents that I would like to share, if I can find them. One of them was a simple question I'll forward on to Mike Seggleton, unless somebody here knows the answer, is if somebody wants to request a change of the name of a road, how do they go about that? I assume there's an application for such a request, or is that something Dutchess County Planning is the...
There's a form that they fill out. So
Okay.
if they come in.
That's what I thought. There's
it might be-
something.
There's a simple form that when you're looking to get a name, they have to approve it to make sure that it doesn't already
The
exist.
planning
So
has to first
stop
approve
in
it.
and see Mikey.
Okay.
We can certainly assist.
Okay. The other issues that have come up in town that I recommend came up in the zoning enforcement report from Mike Seggleton, and one was that there are several unsafe buildings in Wassaic, and I'm glad that he's following up. I think we've all noticed some of the houses are in terrifically bad repair, obviously foreclosed or in some kind of form of foreclosure situation, so I'm glad he's doing that. And he's working on a noise complaint also in Wassaic, and I did get some information from Association of Towns about general information about noise ordinances and how other towns go about trying to enforce noise complaints. So I'll forward that to the rest of the town board just as for an FYI, because I know this issue has come up before, and looks like it's a difficult one for not just us but other towns to deal with. And I forwarded to CAC Chairman Dave Reagan, so they could look at it there. And I'll forward it to Michael Seggleton also, because he says he's working on it also. I would recommend, if, you know, we'll do our own research, but it seems to me maybe the best source of helping Mike Seggleton deal with this. He says he's trying to work on the noise complaint. It is a complicated issue. If he needs help, I would suggest that we authorize him to look into Hillary Thomas, our special prosecutor who works on zoning issues like this, and try and get, you know, whatever assistance he needs, if he needs, to understand what are, you know, how he can respond to these complaints in the most effective way. But I'll forward the free information from the Association of Towns to him first. The other issue that I've heard a lot about was that the town residents truly, really, really, really look forward to the 4th of July parade. And around the 4th of July, I was at Four Brothers, and they were so very, very sad that we did not hold our 4th of July parade, and they wondered if there's anything at all that can be done to bring that back. And I know Dawn Marie has helped me try to understand that it was not the highest priority for the fire company at this time, but at any rate, I'm just passing along the information that I've heard from a soul rendering response to the fact that we didn't have our 4th of July parade. I guess the last couple of years it was a tradition that was beloved, obviously, by many in the community. I also have been hearing on a regular basis from people, particularly in Wassaic, that they're eager to see the ambulance RFP move forward. And I promised them that we would be looking at it as a town board, looking at it very, very, very carefully, and making sure that
Well,
we're
there is
getting
a
the best
draft.
one we have. Right. And so those comments should go back as soon as possible, so that as soon as possible we can get it out to the public, so that the public starts understanding what their responsibilities are going to be for their taxes next year.
We won't know that till we get the bids out.
Right, and we can't get the bids out until we get that RFP okayed. And I promised that we would be doing that tonight and bringing it to the board's attention and moving it along as fast as we can. So
Well, we already are, so.
what
okay.
is that next step for?
There's a meeting on the 19th, is that?
Okay. I think that's an important meeting that we'll finalize it at that time.
Well,
Or get
I'm
some
waiting
feedback.
for another, Brad Pinsky was going to add a few things to the draft RFP. And so we'll get another one, and then I'm having a meeting with the ambulance service committees on Tuesday
Okay.
for them, and I've been waiting, I've been, sent it to the committees and asked for comments from them. But it's still in draft form.
So that meeting is Tuesday, the 19th at 6:30, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, here at the town hall.
Mhm.
And then the other thing that I heard, I hear every year at the WASEG project preview party in June is where are we with the rail trail, and I was glad that Victoria sent us an update on where we are, and
We're waiting for Metro North as usual.
but it's important for people to know exactly where we are. I had said that we would probably be going out for bid because that's kind of where we were hoping for this fall, but it does not sound to me on your latest email that this fall makes,
We don't know
It's a
that.
possibility.
We're just waiting to hear back from Metro North. I sent an email to the person to Metro North we're waiting for a comment from. So we're kind of at their mercy.
so that's the right-of-way that has been really holding up the whole, it's a long, long process, I understand, with the right-of-way, but I understand also that we still don't have DEC approval. So that, I was mistaken or understood mistakenly that they had signed off, but it sounds like they need more information, and so we still have yet to cross that.
They have
Boundary.
signed off on the wildlife area, the part of DEC that deals with the Indiana bats and the bog turtle, all that, and along with the Army Corps of Engineers has all been signed off on.
But
We're not at a point to do the DEC permit at this time. That's not, you have to wait until we get the last three things we need for the 90% design.
Okay, so we're at 60%, and I thought we were at 90%.
We
and that
are
was
at
my-
90.
It says that we're progressing an estimate to 90% completion.
90% completion has been sent, the 90% completion, which I sent you a copy of, has been sent to the DOT. The only one we are waiting from Metro North for them to sign off on the 60% one,
Okay.
which they're dragging their feet on.
Okay.
The 90% one, DOT has.
Right, so they've done some revisions, they've come back and they're going to resubmit the 90% plans for review with
Right.
the revisions once they've heard from Metro North. Okay, so
Yeah, we are at 90. We're not at 60.
Okay,
But Metro North is kind of
Dragging
behind the
their
eight
feet.
ball.
okay, so we're probably not going out to bid this fall. is
I
that
can't
correct?
say that for sure. I don't know.
Okay,
It depends when we get the things, that information I sent you, when we get it. I mean, WSP Cell is working feverishly trying to get the last pieces of this together so that we can.
okay,
But you really can't say that at this point because we don't know.
okay. Thanks for clarifying it, because I want to make sure when I respond to people, I'm actually
Yeah, we're
saying
at
the
the-
correct information.
right, we're at the
not
90
Giving them the wrong information.
Yes, we're at the 90%.
Okay. And
That's
then
where we are.
probably the last thing is that we'll need to amend the dance instructor lines and the supplies line, because we did get the grant from Berkshire Taconic for $2,000 to install mirrors in the room upstairs and the bars, the dance bars, the ballet bars. So we'll have that, and we'll also have I think it's $1,500 added to the dance instructor line. So I'll work with you and Marge to work out the resolution that we'll have to pass to make sure that we have the money in the proper lines.
Okay, we can do that.
That's it.
Is there any other town board comments?
Don't we have a celebration line for the fireworks?
Yes. There's nothing in it.
Did
We didn't put anything in it this year in the budget.
we didn't budget out for celebration this year?
No.
I decided not to.
We didn't put money in the budget for fireworks.
Because I missed the fireworks too.
You missed the
what?
fireworks?
You missed the fireworks?
I missed the fireworks. I was gonna say, if there was money left in that celebration line, why don't we do like a block party or something like that, you know, something, you know, I imagine we can invite the fire company to come and have a parade, and, you know, it'd be something nice to do with the
Something.
community.
The only thing I wanted to mention is that the Indian Rock Schoolhouse is having their annual breakfast this Sunday on the 17th from 8 to 11. So come enjoy pancakes and
Before these.
whatever else.
I just want to remind everybody that the minutes from May are still out there, waiting on board approval.
What were the dates again?
May 19th, June 2nd, and June 16th are the town board meeting minutes that need approval. I didn't put the June 9th special bid opening on, because I'd like to just send everything once to Gretchen. There was a supervisor we added one thing in the May minutes just to reflect that Highway had taken care of the West Egg Party, and we wanted to indicate what that was. And then Councilman Gutierrez had made one notation that we made that change, and that was recirculated. So just showing a voting.
So with those changes. I did have two more comments. What was it?
So if you want to it's not a requirement that the town board approve these minutes. It's been a historical action of the town board, and it's liked and preferred by the New York State Comptroller's Office that the minutes are approved because you're approving the vouchers, and anytime you're spending money, they'd like to see that the minutes are approved and everybody's in agreement. It is not a requirement. So, I mean, I could technically send off my minutes and have them put on the
Posted?
website.
Yeah.
I just try to keep suit and make everybody
Now,
happy.
at any of those dates, was there anyone absent?
There was one where Councilman Delango was absent. Because that's who I had voting going into executive session.
Okay.
He wasn't here. So if we were looking at
So
them
have you
separately.
looked at the minutes?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I just gotta pull my report back out. I had them all. June 16th, and Damien was absent on June 16th. So if you wanna go backwards.
So I know I reviewed the what was it, May 19th?
Was it that he was that?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
June 16th, I was absent.
That's the two
so
absences.
That's an easy one for me to vote on. So if you guys want to do those two. I know for sure I reviewed.
Oh, because then you're. Yeah, no, you each were absent at different times. Very
Right.
good. So if you want to do one at a time,
Yes,
which
we
would
have
be
to.
the preferred. So you have, the oldest one was May 19th.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented for May 19th, or with the
With the
corrections.
changes,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll second that.
Who was absent at that one?
Mike was absent. I had him voting that we went into executive session,
Okay,
so I had
all
to
right.
change that. So Councilman Delango is going to abstain. Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
And you had June 2nd.
Is there any absence there?
No, that was when everybody was present for it.
I don't have
Over my
them.
voting. Where'd I put them? They were all out in the report when I had.
Vicky, were you?
You were,
I think I was here.
you were here. Everybody was here. It was the 16th where you were absent.
Okay.
Everybody was here for the June one.
It's June, what is the date?
Second?
Can I make a motion to approve the minutes for June 2nd, 2016?
Second it.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
And then you have June 16th.
Can I make a motion to approve the minutes for June 16th?
Says I was here.
No, Damian is not here. I'm trying to point to you so you know
I
he's
second
not here.
that.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez? is-
Abstain.
Abstain. Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's what I'm trying to point to. I was like,
Okay, town board comments? You wanted to make a couple more
Oh,
comments?
there was, we have a problem maintaining Fountain Square, I guess, according to Marilyn, who's been volunteering, and we've had some of our volunteers who were previously capable, not able to. So I would suggest that we include in our bids next year, that we make sure that includes the weeding between the bricks at Fountain Square, because we already have in our lawn mowing contract, right?
To
East
do the
Main Street.
sidewalks, yeah.
So I don't know why they're not doing it, and other people have to keep on it. It looks great because Marilyn's been on it like, you know, a shot, but we
You mean
really-
the memorial bricks?
between the memorial bricks,
Okay.
grass grows up and it looks awful when that happens. So she just has been maintaining it herself, but she is,
Yeah, I don't think that was in
that's
the
not
bid.
right for, you know, it's one thing to plant the flowers and get volunteers, but to have ongoing maintenance of that area is, it's more than anybody should have to do. It's something that the town should take on, I think, as part of its contracts.
Okay.
The other thing is that when the park managers go down to Wassaic Park, if they could also take a look at Little Borden Park and see that the existing one picnic table is in terrible repair. It needs two. It was designed to have two. And I bought a cheap one for $99, actually two of them, and the highway guys installed it for me, so it wouldn't walk away. And the wooden ones before that were, you know, fell apart. We need long-range, good picnic tables that are going to last more
Aren't we
than a
getting
couple
some?
years.
I think we're getting some.
If we're getting some, I'd like to have that as a priority.
I just signed the form for us to be on, is it on the OGS eBay?
eBay account. So we were
eBay
waiting
account.
for that to get approved.
Okay.
So that way the items that are at Taconic can be picked up, but we can't, we're kind of at a standstill until she gets the,
ID number?
yeah, we need to get a
Yeah.
special ID.
I
and then we
have,
can
I've
put in
signed
for
the
it.
paperwork, we're just waiting for the ID number, but some of the things that are put aside for us are picnic tables.
Oh, good.
So they're coming.
So August 6th is our, you know,
We're
big
kind of,
festival down there.
we're waiting for my
It's
pin,
always
I
nice
guess.
to have picnic tables that actually
You know,
work.
we're talking about all this stuff, the door, picnic tables, weeds growing and everything else. I think when it gets up for budget time, we should seriously maybe think about a position where we have, I don't want to say a handyman, but you know, someone that is on our payroll and we pay them to do these things. If it's a light bulb that needs to get replaced, we don't need an electrician to come and change a light bulb. If the door, you know, maybe a handyman could look at that door. It's a position that he's already employed it at the town. It might save $3,000 if he could fix it. You know, and same thing with the mulch and the weeds and the Fountain Square and, you know, spreading of whatever. You know, it might be something to look at where we're putting on a full-time position, but with all these little nicks that we're spending money on, it might be a pretty good, you know, cost saving.
Yeah.
You know, because if you look at what we're spending on, you know, just maintenance stuff, it might, you know, it's something to look at when it comes to budget time. I mean, I don't want to call it a public works department or anything like that, but a basic handyman that has a truck that, you know, we could do things with. We just spent money on Arnoff to move tables out of the Presbyterian Church. You know, it was $504. If we had someone on the payroll, this is the little stuff that they could do. We don't have to wait for Mike to come in and click the door up at the top. We have someone on staff. And I know John does a lot around the building too. And that's, I mean, that's great. It's just, you know, it might be something to
Yeah,
think
somebody with carpentry and plumbing skills and
That's
whatever,
what I'm
a little
saying.
bit everything.
Sort of like a handyman where, you know, they're the go-to guy where, you know, they're not going to rewire the building, but they can replace an outlet. Or, you know, if the sidewalk needs to get shoveled in the wintertime, you could go out there and shovel the sidewalk. You know, you might give a local resident a full-time job.
Well,
And-
we can talk about that budget, because that's going to
You
be
know,
here
that
pretty
might be
soon.
something to talk about at budget time.
Sure, it's a good idea.
That's it for me.
Are there any other town board comments? No?
Yes, I guess so.
Yes, uh-oh. You just I guess there is.
All right, happy to do it. The
Thank you.
Wasac Bar Company Auxiliary is providing a breakfast and bake sale on Sunday, July 24th, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Wasac Firehouse. There'll be pancakes, French toast, omelets, eggs, bacon, sausage, home fries, toast, coffee, juice, and it's for a mere $8 for adults, and seniors $7, children $5. If you have questions, call 845-373-9557. Thanks.
Keep going, there's 4.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I can hand you each one next
No?
time.
So the
You
senior
just
picnic?
received an update via email, just wanting, Michelle wanted you guys to know that the senior picnic is coming up Saturday, July 30th.
You're doing a great
And-
job.
So she just wanted you guys to have the update and who the
Yeah, that's
volunteers
good.
were in your list. The next senior trip is going to be held on Wednesday, August 17th, Britt Van Winkle boat ride, if you're interested in going on that trip. So that's the 17th. The deadline is July 22nd, and the cost is $19 to ride the boat. And then if you would like to purchase the box lunch, it's an additional $11.50, and that's a 50-cent increase from last year. Also, the Lions Club is doing a bike safety event on August 6th from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's going to be at the Harlan Valley Rail Trail at the intersection of the Rail Trail parking lot and Mechanic Street. There's going to be free giveaways and bike safety checks.
Great. Thanks.
A lot of happenings.
Are there any other town board comments? Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
8:51. Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yep.
Supervisor Pearlie?
Yes.